All right. Hey, again, Eric Arnold here in the politics barn. It is July 3rd, wee hours of the morning, July 3rd, Wednesday. Um, yeah, I know I don't make videos for weeks, if not months at a time, but I generally make these political videos as things happen that there are to talk about. And let's face it, in the last week or so, more significant things have happened than the last 6 months put together. So this is when things are happening, so let's talk about them. I mean, we have a complete, I'm not going to say a split. You have a fight right now going on within the Democrat Party as to who the nominee should be. This immunity decision that the Supreme Court came out with on Monday, and then you've got the Democrats now agreeing to wait until September to sentence Trump for his conviction in New York for the nonsensical record-keeping case. So that all of which we're going to talk about here in the politics barn. So let's get to it. I told you that the polls are the barometer I'm using to determine what's going on within the Democrat Party. It's hard to tell unless somebody makes a public statement that they can't walk back what's going on. In other words, sources say that people close to fill in the blank say this, that, and the other thing. Well, you don't know if any of that's true because A, the sources are coming from within a party which is full of liars. So you have no idea if what they're putting out there is true. Is it some just a line that they want to push public opinion in a direction? You don't know. The people reporting it are probably liars because most of the media are made up of Democrats. So you really have to, for example, Bill O'Reilly's running around telling anyone that'll listen that Barack Obama has told Biden that he's done, it's over. And it's almost like, okay, who told you that? I'd like to know. And even if he did, what does that mean exactly? In other words, does Biden go, oh, I've been told by the smart black guy that I'm done. I guess I'll quit. In what universe do you see that happening? These guys are not friends. And I think that everybody that follows politics knows that. Just because they appear on stage and smile and wave together and shake hands, they're not friends. I mean, Biden has been the subject of any number of Obama insults. I don't know the source of it, but I'm sure if you pull it up on the internet, allegedly Obama said, hey, let's never forget Joe's ability to fuck things up. Yeah, and everybody just all laughed at that. It's like, I bet Jill Biden did not laugh at that. And I bet Barack Obama probably regrets saying that now. Maybe not. But these are not friends. Again, the New York Post piece, that was where I'd made a video about 3-4 videos back, and I was saying someone had told me, and it was someone who had read this piece, that Michelle Obama, excited about the Bidens, particularly because she's friends with Hunter Biden's first wife, the Kathleen Buell. That's the one, I guess, as he was an up-and-coming Georgetown lawyer that he was married to, and I guess he probably had all his kids with, I'm not sure. But then as he got into where Joe was the vice president and Hunter moving up the influence peddling food chain, becoming a rock star, everybody wants to talk to Hunter to kiss his ring because then that brings you milk and honey because of the way the Democrat Party peddles influence. I guess he got bored with her and kicked her to the curb, and then started nailing his dead brother's wife or widow at that juncture. So yeah, I could see if Michelle Obama was friends with the woman kicked to the curb for all that. Yeah, I could see where she would not like the Bidens. So that I totally think is true. These are not, the Obamas and Bidens are not friends. So I do believe it is true that Obama wants Biden out. I believe that's true. I got no evidence. I don't necessarily believe the O'Reilly report, but it rings semi-true. The question is, will Biden listen? And when I say Biden, again, Biden means Jill Biden. That's the only person that matters. Joe Biden, as we all saw, is a vegetable. He has no ability to rationalize, to think, to make decisions. If you put a teleprompter in front of him, he might be able to read the words correctly, but he's still going to get every, say, 10th or 20th word wrong. Apparently, we're going to have a White House summer of extreme heat. That's what he said today. Now, apparently he meant summit, White House summit, first time, whatever the hell that is. That makes about as much sense as a White House summer. But I'm sure the sentence didn't read, we're going to have a White House summer of extreme heat, and he still screwed it up. So he's an idiot at this point, a drooling, slack-jawed idiot. So set him aside. The person making decisions is Jill. Whatever she tells him to do, he's probably going to do, and even that's not assured. Old people, when they get something in their head, especially when they're losing their marbles, good luck changing their minds. And that's where Biden is right now. So you got that. The big wigs in the Democrat Party want him out. I would say that includes the media. So, but their problem is that they've done such a good job convincing their base what a great guy Joe Biden is, that the vast majority of Democrat voters want him to stay. And it's hilarious because the media is running around with these polls, and you know which way they're leading just the way they sell the poll. It's like a third of Democrat voters, 41% of Democrat voters want Joe Biden to quit. It's like, what? Is that bad? I mean, are you kidding me? In other words, if you held a referendum on an issue and 2/3 of people said, we want that, that would be an overwhelming victory. So if 2/3 of Democrat voters want Joe Biden to continue in the race, that is an overwhelming victory. Plus, it's almost like these never Trumpers or the Nikki Haley people, wow, Donald Trump didn't garner 15% of the vote. It's like, well, Jesus Christ, he got 85%. That's still a pretty big number. So I would say right now, the Democrat big wheels, the media, they're all trying to convince the Democrat voter, you can't win. We can't win. We're going to lose. We're going to lose. We got to have somebody else. Anybody else. Oh my God. Now, will it work? And remember, Jill Biden is not powerless here. She's not going to just stand by and let this all go around her and do nothing. She's going to fight back at some point. She has allies too in the media, in the Democrat Party. So she's not just going to sit there and take it. She's got him booked on George Stephanopoulos' show on ABC for the weekend. I guess we'll see what happens there. In other words, if I was Jill Biden, there's no way I would have set that up unless I had guarantees and assurances that he's not going to, Joe, the idiot, is going to get submarined by Stephanopoulos. the interview is going to be recorded, of course. So, Jill is the most powerful woman in the world. So to say she has no ability to fight back is nonsense. She could go to ABC and just say, hey, I'm going to make sure that you guys suffer if you submarine us on this interview. If you publish an interview where he looks stupid or old or anything like that, you're dead, dead, dead. I say that metaphorically. Will that work? In other words, let's say they do submarine him. Just say that Stephanopoulos ambushes Biden with questions he isn't ready for, which could be anything. It really could. It could be, can you name the capital of Russia? Could you name your first girlfriend? Could you name anything? Corn pop? Duh. He's an idiot at this point. There's no way to know what he knows and what he doesn't know. So if he looks bad in the interview, that could sink him possibly. But then, ABC will bear the brunt of sinking Joe Biden. Will there be blowback for that? Well, if the Obamas step in and got ABC's back, they could probably get away with it. Yeah. Let's put it this way. Whoever sticks the knife in Joe Biden's back better kill him. So if Stephanopoulos stabs him in the back and Joe Biden somehow stumbles out of there and Jill revives him and he ends up being the nominee, woe is them. They're going to regret that. But we'll see, So she's fighting back. I'm certain of that. I do not think that at this juncture the decision has been made, that the Bidens have agreed to quit. Do I believe all the stories coming out that the Bidens all met and Hunter and Jill said, you need to stay in, stay in? Do I believe that? I don't know. I guess just because I think that's what they're doing. They released a poll today. This is certainly, to me, an indication that they're trying to frighten Jill Biden and get her to drop out. That, I believe Reuters, a heavily leftist communist outfit, released a poll saying that Michelle Obama would defeat Trump 50 to 39. 50 to 39. Mike Obama, Michelle Obama, 50. Donald J. Trump, 39. Now, if they just run it up against Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I think they had that tied at 41 or 42, something like that. It was tied. So right there, that tells you, we can ascertain a number of things from this. One, that's not true. Trump said it was taken after the debate, too. So that's nonsense. There's no way in the world that Donald Trump is tied with Biden at this moment in time. It's a slanted poll. It's not true. It's a lie. Reuters is a notorious left-wing organization. Their polls always slant towards the Democrats. So there's that. So is Obama really 11 points clear of Donald Trump? No, of course not. Of course not. This is a work. It's a lie. It's meant to try to frighten Jill Biden into dropping out. You can't win. Oh, my God. In fact, we got a guaranteed winner right here. So in a way, it's almost stupid. And it's like you're going to try to get Jill Biden to do something by telling them that her enemy, I don't know if her and Michelle are enemies necessarily, but I know they ain't friends. That her rival, how about that? That's a little cleaner. her rival is so much better than her beloved husband that he has failed, and her rival will step in and pick up the ball laying on the field and cross the goal line when her husband could not do that, that she will come in and save the day. I'm having a tough time seeing Jill Biden going, oh, you're right. I hate to admit it, but my rival, my other wife, basically my compadre, my contemporary, the wife of the president, other president, who's pretty much on a par with me, is better than me and Joe. She's so much better. My God, it's not close. She's so much better. Yes, I admit, you're so much better than I am. Can you see that? I can't see that. I mean, really, I think that'd be tough for any politician to just go, yes, you're right, the person I don't really particularly like and am rivals with, I have to admit, you're so much better than I am. No way. No way. Now, again, is Michelle Obama that much more popular than Donald Trump? Again, Reuters, so it leans left. So I would say instead of 50-39, put that maybe more, say, I don't know, 48-41. Then they did it, it was simply adults that they polled. In poli-sci, you got three categories of people. Adults, that's the big universe of people. Then you got registered voters. So they poll people that aren't even registered to vote. They couldn't vote if they wanted to at that moment in time. So you drill down a little further, and each time you drill down further and further, it favors Republicans traditionally. So then you go registered voters, and then you go likely voters. So if you got down to a likely voter model, that would be even closer. So that would probably be, I don't know, 46-43 Obama. So yeah, I believe she's probably more popular at the moment than Trump would be. But then Trump hasn't had a chance to go at her yet. She's a clean, shiny penny that no one's gone negative on yet and tried to define her for who she is, a radical communist. She has skeletons in her closet, baggage. It'd be a race against time to bring it out, though, because you'd only have a handful of days before the election. So that would be advantage Obama. I think it would probably be more likely than not that Obama would beat Trump. I try to tell you what I believe is the truth in the politics barn. That's one of the things that I absolutely cannot stand about this country right now, especially the politics in this country, is that there are a lot of lies, and they're almost exclusively on the left and in the media, and it just is exasperating that nobody will be honest right now, particularly the Democrats and the media. So we try to tell you the truth as we know it here in the politics barn. There's a giant spider right there. I only say that just because a friend of the program allegedly was bitten by a brown recluse spider and is fighting through that right now. So I'm going to keep an eye on the spider. I'm not going to go over there and kill it because I think that'd be bad luck. But I'll keep an eye on it. Where were we? They're trying to convince the Democrat voters right now. It could go either way. Their clock is in Jill Biden's favor. That's one of Newton's laws. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. So an action has to happen for Joe Biden to be removed from the ticket. So the schemers, the congressmen and senators, I guess I read that 25 moderate congressmen were going to pen a letter asking or demanding, or whatever word they would use, demanding that Biden step down. It's just kind of funny in a way. It's like, so he's not competent enough to be the candidate, but he is competent enough to be president. They're not ready to just say, well, oh my God, you're such a drooling idiot. You can't run for president. Well, you can be president, you just can't run for president. So it's because then they would be stuck with the Kamala problem. You know, if they admitted the obvious that this guy's not qualified to be president, which he obviously isn't, well, then Kamala Harris would be president. And they don't want that. I guess what might happen is that might be the option they're forced into. In other words, all other replacement scenarios are just too messy, too ugly, and some part of the Democrat Party insists that they're going to take their ball and go home. And the only way that they can unite the party is bringing in Kamala, which everybody seems to think that she's, you know, worse than Joe. She has all her marbles and she can't string 3 sentences together, which is, and I think she's not popular among, how to say this, women are traditionally Democrat constituency. They always poll better with women than the Republicans do. I'm not sure women are all that excited about Kamala because Kamala got her start in politics and got ahead by blowing Willie Brown, the powerful, I guess at the time he was the mayor of San Francisco. So this is kind of like, oh, sleep your way to the top. I thought we were done with all that. Well, clearly not. It's a tried and true method of getting ahead if you're a woman. And Kamala has done it. I don't think that's in dispute. So, you know, I could see some women like my wife going, that's now of course you're still going to vote for her, but I could see maybe a few others maybe just going, oh, what's this RFK guy all about? Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I think the first question you got to answer, will Joe, Jill step down? That's the first question. That's up in the air. Then after that, who's going to drop in? And I still think it's more likely than not that he's going to just stay right where he is, that they're not going to be able to move Jill out of the way. She was on the cover of Vogue. I mean, you're on the cover of Vogue. They're not going to be putting her on the cover of anything once her husband's not the nominee anymore. She's an afterthought. She's a nothing. She's a nobody. I forget what TV show it was. It might have been The West Wing. It probably was The West Wing. I'm not 100%, but I think it was. And somebody, I believe Alan Alda, played the Republican candidate. And he lost, of course, to the witty, sharp, brainy Martin Sheen. And they showed just like the day after the election, and, you know, he's just, no one wants to talk to him. He's just, suddenly he's an unperson. He's the losing candidate. And that's what's going to happen to the Bidens if they step down. Right now, they're the most important people in the world. And if they step off the stage, no one's going to ask about them. No one's going to ask, oh, who's Joe endorsing? No one will care. No one cares what he thinks. No one cares what he has to say. They're going to be unpeople. I can't, they don't give a shit about communist ideals. That's what I think, is that this is their payoff for being loyal Democrat Arapachiks for 50 years. They're finally getting their payoff, and now they're being told by true believers, like the Obamas, that they got to step aside for the good of the movement. I'm thinking no. I'm thinking no. And we're rooting for the Bidens to stay right the hell where they are, because I think they're easier to beat than somebody that actually doesn't have dementia. I think that's just, politics 101. dementia candidates have less of a chance than non-dementia candidates. They didn't exactly teach me that at Ohio State. I kind of learned that one myself on the street, but I'm pretty sure that one's true. All right, let's see what else we got. Immunity. So now Donald Trump, apparently, I didn't read the decision. I don't care. This is where I believe I have a clearer vision of what goes on in politics than a lot of these pundits, certainly more so than the Democrat Party. The reason is that all those type of people are lawyers, and they all see the world through a legal lens, and that's not how politics is supposed to work. The people that wrote the Declaration, the Constitution, a lot of them were lawyers, but the arbitrator of disputes in our system, it's not a judge, it's not a jury, it's the voters, it's the people. That's the way it's always been designed to work. And the Supreme Court knows this, and that's why they made the decision they made. And the idea that, well, they made the decision they made because they're all conservatives, that's bullshit. You got 3 conservatives on the court, Gorsuch, Alito, Thomas. You got 3 left-wing commies, basically, and Brown, Kagan, and Sotomayor. And then 3 in the middle who, by label, are Republicans, but I don't think they're any kind of conservatives. They're moderates at best. They're probably more on the liberal side than they are on the conservative side. John Roberts was the one that said Obamacare is just fine, which is ridiculous, but that's how he rolled. That's how he ruled. So, but they ruled correctly in this case. And my point is that a moderate jurist would look at this the way it should be looked at, that a president can't be continually looking over his shoulder when he's trying to do the job of a president. He can't continually be thinking, well, in a year and a half, I'm probably going to be out on the street, and I don't want to be before a tribunal of my enemies, answering to things I did that I thought were for the good of the country. You'll never get honest governance that way. And these Democrats are just, oh, they're awful. They're so hypocritical because, they'll argue the point one way when it benefits them. And then if it was reversed, if it was, say, the Republicans that were trying to put a Democrat president on trial, which I guess never happened yet because it's Democrats that have invented this lawfare tactic. But if it was to be reversed, they'd argue the reverse without shame. So right now they're arguing, of course, that a Republican president can always be put on trial in a Democrat venue with a Democrat judge and a Democrat jury, and that's always cool. This idea that a Republican, well, any president, any president now could just assassinate any opponents is ridiculous. It's nonsense. Well, they just said he's immune. He can do anything. We can impeach him. I mean, that's still there in the Constitution. The people that try the president are the elected representatives of the people. All the people, not 12 of the people in one tiny little jurisdiction, which in this case just happens to be in the heart of communist territory, that no, all the people and the representatives get to weigh in. And the people get a vote by basically public opinion, by calling up their representatives and saying, we want that guy gone. We didn't like that drone strike on the enemy corporate campaign headquarters. That's not allowed. That we want that guy gone, and we want him gone yesterday. So the idea that there's no repercussions for no matter what a president does is absolute nonsense. The Democrats did this. to Trump. They impeached him twice. And of course, they did not remove him because the people did not want him removed. They did not agree with the Democrats' viewpoint that Trump had committed these awful, horrible, heinous crimes. They were able to convince a majority of Democrat representatives, but of course they couldn't get the 2/3 because it's a high bar that you have to jump over to get rid of a president. This lawfare nonsense, it all dates back to Watergate. The Democrats took one of the most popular presidents in American history and got rid of him, and that gave them a taste of blood. And they've known ever since that this endless investigation crap can be used. The Republicans tried it in the 90s with Clinton to their shame. I admit I was wrong about that we shouldn't have gotten involved in that. You just should have left that alone. And it almost seems to me every time, with the exception being Watergate, is that when the party does all this investigations and crap, which has now just got completely out of control. I mean, every time they do this bullshit, the other team gets more popular. The people don't like this bullshit. They don't like it. People like fair play. People like some semblance of rules. They don't like anarchy and chaos in their political systems. And the people are right. So when these Democrats are now saying there's going to be some kind of assassination, it's almost like, well, go ahead, Joe. You're the ones that are arguing that you can do anything. You have been doing anything. You've been doing anything you like. And guess what? The people don't like it. That's a part of the reason Trump's winning. He's winning because of your asshole lawfare tactics. I heard this, I think, on the Megyn Kelly show, and I forget if she said it or a guest said it, but that the ruling was essentially the Democrats running to court, and it was the Democrats. In other words, they're the ones that brought this issue up with their stupid lawfare stuff. This issue would have never come up had Democrats just behaved like a normal political party. But no, of course, they've got to try to steal the election by putting Donald Trump in jail and frightening the American voter from voting for him. So they're trying to steal the election. And so this case comes up because Donald Trump not going to just stand there and let them imprison him without a fight. This case then goes to the Supreme Court, and they say, well, no, Democrats, I know you guys are here whining that you should be able to try this guy in the bluest of all blue jurisdictions for things that you think he did wrong when he was president. You're the ones that are breaking all the norms. Your guys are here. Well, what about this? Trump did this. What about that? Trump tried to lead a revolution. Trump did this, Trump did that. And the court said, no, you're the ones. You're the ones that are breaking the norms. You are the ones. So sit down and stop this stuff. But of course they won't. I don't know. When I just said, oh, they won't, they've agreed to postpone the sentencing for the New York case till, I believe, September 18th now. In other words, based on the ruling of the immunity ruling, and I think also the Fisher case, the Trump lawyers, have doing their due diligence, filing their filings before a corrupt judge, which is, they're not filing it before him, they're filing it basically to him, but then they're really talking to the appellate or the Supreme Court. That's who they're really talking to. And they're saying, hey, a bunch of court cases come out here in the past couple weeks. We're going to win. We're going to get your ridiculous verdict overturned. Why don't you delay this sentencing for a spell so you don't look completely foolish, and or we don't put you on trial when we get in there. And they agreed. The Democrats agreed. And I don't know, that's not in a vacuum. In other words, Alvin Bragg and Juan Merchan did not decide independently, hey, let's grant that and push off this sentencing. They were told that that was allowed. They were told, I assume by the Obamas. That's the people I would expect are giving the marching orders to the people like that. The head of the lawfare division in the Democrat Party, I assume, would be the Obamas. Possibly Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, but probably nothing gets done without the Obama approval. And why, if you're thinking, why? Well, it does seem like every time they do something to Trump, he gets more popular. So you sentence him to some kind of jail sentence, man, he might jump up another 2-3 points because people are fucking tired of this lawfare. It's so in your face. It's so ridiculous. It's like on the one hand, you have a candidate that can't say, who declares we finally beat Medicare, and he has no idea what he said. He can barely stand up for 90 minutes. He's admitting now, or his excuses now, that he almost fell asleep on stage. It's like, are you kidding me? I mean, you're in one of the most high stakes, high energy moments of your entire presidency, and you're saying you almost fell asleep, and you're admitting that like it's a good thing. Like, well, I almost fell asleep because 2 weeks ago I flew around the world. It's like, you're so stupid, and I don't know who told you to say that, but that's just dumb. It's like you're admitting that like it's a good thing. So you got that guy on the one hand, and then you get another guy who was president, and it wasn't a terrible presidency, and you're trying to put him in jail. That's your solution. That's how you think your best course of action is to win the presidency. And everybody sees it now. It's just so non-American. It's so Nazi-esque. It's Soviet. Terrible. So they're probably saying, all right, this isn't working. I mean, not that we don't want to put him in jail. We just want to win. Let's put it this way. If they knew they would win the presidency, if the Democrats were guaranteed they'd win the presidency by, say, waking up every morning and saying, I love Donald Trump, walking over, shaking his hands and giving him a big hug and doing that every morning, that's what they would do if they were guaranteed that would work. They'll do anything to win. Bad, good, whatever. So that's not working. I think that's what they've concluded. That's not working. Or what they could be doing is just pulling that one back and saying, all right, look, we don't know who the nominee is right now. And people like Obama and the media are saying, let's just hold this one in abeyance and let the person who's the actual nominee make that decision as to whether we're going to put him in jail or not. It's not, once we make that decision, that card's been played and we can't unring that bell. So if, say, Gretchen Whitmer gets in there and Donald Trump is sitting in Mar-a-Lago with an ankle monitor with his polls rising every day because of the unfairness of it all, and she says, God damn, you really tied my hands behind my backs with this idiotic jailing of Donald Trump. Well, there's nothing she can do about it at the moment. She could try to convince the powers to be to pardon or let Trump loose or whatnot, but the damage has probably already been done at that point. The bell's been rung. So she may have decided, no, I'm not going to jail him. I can beat him without doing that. So that might be also what they're doing, is that they're not sure who the nominee is going to be, so they're pulling back on this lawfare strategy till they have a nominee. Either one could be true. All right, what else we got here? Man, I mean, stuff's happening every day right now, every day. I'm rooting for Jill Biden. Hang in there, Jill. I mean, why would you drop out? The Obamas hate you. They don't like you. They don't respect you. They certainly don't respect your husband. So stick with it. Fight these guys. Fight them hard. See, that's a funny thing. I'm almost going to do that. I hate talking politics with my inner circle Democrats just because it's a pointless conversation. It's just, it just gives me a headache. Everybody feels bad. It's people you care about, but, they couldn't be any more wrong if they tried. And you trying to convince them of that is just, pointless. But I may just ask them, because it's a harmless question. It's a Democrat question. In other words, I'm not, this is a question for you all, Democrats. Who would you rather have? Would you rather stick with Biden, or would you rather have a new candidate? And if so, who? It's an honest question. I keep thinking about the Biden option in that, do you really have to have a president? In other words, what you're basically arguing is that you're going to vote for the Politburo, the Biden Politburo. And we may or may not tell you who's on the Politburo. Remember how they would always talk about, I'm talking people my age that remember the Iron Curtain, when there was the Soviet Union that was bad, and we didn't hug it and say, oh, well, we love the Russians. Of course, I guess we don't love them anymore. For a brief moment there, we loved the Russians, I guess, and now we hate them again. But we would never know who's on this mysterious Politburo. They would have like a figurehead premier, I guess, and then all these decisions were made by the Politburo, which we never knew how it was selected or who was on it. And that's basically what the Democrat Biden people are asking you to vote for. And is that okay? I mean, I know that's not what the Constitution says, but nobody cares anymore what the Constitution says. We're in a post-constitutional society. So do you really need a president? I mean, that 3 a.m. phone call, does it ever happen? And if it does happen, does it need to be decided so quickly that 3 guys couldn't get together and go, all right, I think this is a way to go. Or, get 10 guys together, take that extra hour to get people together. It's an interesting question. I would say probably the ultimate answer is, yeah, we should have somebody in charge. But not according to them. Not according to them. All right, that's enough for tonight. I'm Eric Arnold. I believe in free speech. For now, we still have free speech. Vote for Donald Trump so we continue to have free speech, and we'll talk again.